啊，表哥
倒酒后，
啊，表妹
倒酒后，
啊，表哥
喜欢不喜欢也要喝。
So the band we're going to be talking about today is Shanren from Yunnan province. Shanren are, you could say, the original Yunnan band. They're the first band to really be doing what this whole Yunnan music thing is about. I've been working with them for more than 20 years, so they're a very important band for me personally. And it's been very interesting to see the development of the music over this time and for it to finally become what can be considered Yunnan music. The name is pronounced Shanren, and it means mountain man or mountain people. And this refers to Yunnan, which is a mountainous area. It also has connotations of like a hermit in the mountains, so someone that's observing society without taking part in it, wisdom, and basically, but the main point of it is talking about the tribes of Yunnan who live in the mountains. So Shanren began as a rock band, had no traditional musical instruments in the band, but always had an interest in the local melodies, local vocal styles and stuff of the region. And gradually over time were encouraged to add the local instruments into the music. And this was a process of kind of looking at the instruments, adapting them, how you'd put them into set, how you'd amplify them, how you would keep them in tune for a performance. There are all kinds of challenges in this, which might seem like obvious solutions now, but at the time seemed to be very difficult to do. So over the course of 20 years, Shanren have become the band that they are now. Certain members have come and gone, left the band. We've had members of the band who have died. Bassist Ayong, who some people know, died a few years ago, and Tu, who was in the band as a keyboard player very early on, also died recently. So there's been about 10 members over the time, and what we have now is we have 5 members. The drummer Xiao O, who is an original member, Chuza Han, who is the lead singer, and the leader of the band, who's been in the band from the beginning, obviously. And so bass player is now Siga Ala, who used to be with Manhu Band, who people interested in Yunnan music will also know that band. We also have now a female singer called Leinu, who is from the Hani people, and she brings a lot of vocal talent and plucked instrument and wind instruments to the band. And finally, I'm also in the band as a percussionist, and also like a wind instrumentalist, backing vocalist. I've been a member of the band as a musician and as someone helping with promoting the band overseas, and that's where Sea of Wood came from. It's a label that came from the desire to promote all of Yunnan's bands that we could find, rather than just Shanren. What defines Shanren's sound? It's a very specific but hard to define, because the mixture of Yunnan elements with, I'd say, rock and roll elements, electronic elements, reggae, kind of Western sounds in general, it's kind of hard to put a finger on how exactly that took place and where exactly it is in the spectrum of that kind of thing. But the band is very much influenced by rock music. So Deep Purple, Red Hot Chili Peppers, the Beatles, even heavy music like Slayer, and also later reggae music, Manu Chao, Bob Marley, various music like that. But primarily what defines the sound is the Yunnan ethnic instruments that are used. So the shenzi is a plucked instrument, a lot of the wind instruments, and percussion instruments, and also the songs themselves, the melodies are quite often rooted in Yunnan folk melody. And I think that's what makes this kind of rock sound completely different from other rock bands. Because the thing that defines Shanren is they are not ethnic musicians that started to make rock music. They're rock musicians that started to add these elements into the music. And that's quite an important point, because it changes how they appreciate the sound that they're making and how they came to the sound. in a way, it's a process of leaving all the traditional stuff behind, trying to get away from it for a number of years, and then re-establishing, rediscovering it, rediscovering their appreciation of the music, and then wanting to dive back into it and add it back into their sound. And I think it's completely different if, for instance, Manhu are a band that came from doing traditional music and then added other elements into it. And even though on the surface it might seem like a similar sound, it's actually completely different. 2024, Shanren are looking at new recordings. We're doing local tours of Yunnan, which involve exploring different regions and working with the local musicians within certain areas to put on a show for the locals in small towns and in villages. Instead of going to the big towns and the big venues, it's kind of, the idea is to kind of like make the community part of the music that we're trying to make, instead of taking the music away and and it losing its link with that community. We end up with a live video of creating the song, putting them on stage and performing for the locals. I think it's going to be a very cool way of integrating the real mountain people into Shanren's music.